So here's a really nice question I got asked by one of my clients, which is, how do I create new ideas in my business in order to be exclusive in my branding? All right. So in other words, how do I stand out in my business through my own ideas? Hi, I'm Diya Asrani and welcome to my YouTube channel. And in this particular video, I will be sharing with you 5 simple things you can do in order to start building new ideas in your business. Now, when I talk about new ideas, I talk about being authentic. I talk about being someone who, stands out in the way they share their information with the world. So in business, okay, it could be the operations side of it, it could be the concept side of it, it could be any kind of, the process side of it, wherein you are trying to think of different ideas on how to achieve your results. All right. So how this is related to the exclusivity of your branding is that when people see you, okay, as a personal brand, they want to see how do you do things differently and what makes you powerful in your industry. So these 5 simple things that I want to share with you in this video are very, very basic, very simple and straightforward that will allow you to make new ideas come out in no time when it comes to your business and when it comes to building your brand. Okay. Number 1, do not procrastinate over an idea. Okay. So I'm not saying just go do it, but what I'm trying to say is that when you get an idea, when an idea comes into your mind, all right, the first thing you do is you write it down or you put it on your phone, okay, on your notes. The second thing you do is you run it through at least with 10 people. Okay, now this can be your inner circle, this can be your friends, it can be your family, it can be your spouse with, maybe your family members, anyone who is, looking to, who can actually be ready to give you feedback. Okay. The other way of doing this is that you can start asking questions on social media. Today, social media is like this huge tool. It's like a massive tool for you to, share your ideas and to ask questions. So when you actually ask questions, you will get answers. So if you want to test out your idea, and this could be even something that you have thought of the previous night and you want to, test it out. So the next day you should be able to actually do this. Okay. So do not procrastinate over an idea, because once you do that, your idea will get diluted. Okay. So it's not about that, going the safe way. All right. When you go in the safe direction, you're only sticking into your comfort zone. But once you actually move out of your comfort zone, you will see the possibilities of achieving results through this particular idea. All right. So don't procrastinate. Number 1 is that. Number 2 is build a confidence to create new things. Okay. Now here the thing is confidence. Now a lot of people tell me this, that creativity is not something I own. I'm a very technical person. I'm a very back-end person. I don't really look at creativity. But can I tell you one thing very honestly? If you're a business owner, you have to, just like how marketing is, just like how branding is, creativity is a skill, like how creative thinking is a skill that you need to master. So if you don't create something, people are never going to be able to see the real you in your brand. So there are ways of doing this. Okay. One is that when you look at information on the internet, all right, instead of copying it, but if you resonate with it, you can tweak it in a way that it sounds like yours. Now that doesn't mean that you are using the same thing, copy paste same blog, copy paste the blog post onto your post, and then you make it look like it's yours. But if you resonate with the blog and if you really like the blog post, okay, for example, or you like the video that you have seen and you want to talk about the same topic, you talk about it in a different way, keeping the same points in mind. So the points need not be the same, sentences that I used, all right? Because always if you see, somebody else who's talking about something will be completely different from how you talk. So how you share it is what matters, all right? So building that confidence comes when, you start living your brand, when you start, talking about your ideas every single day, all right? And one thing which I really strongly tell a lot of my clients is to journal. Okay, go on this whole journaling spree of writing things down and writing your stories and writing your experiences, what you faced today, what you want to do in the future, how do you want to achieve certain things. Keep writing all those down, all right? An idea will stir up. The other way to do it is read books. All right, when you read books that relate to what you do, the ideas will come again. Okay, so what is happening is when you build that confidence to create, you're building that power of owning something that nobody else has. Okay, so if it means that you want to build a certain strategy in what you do, or you want to build a trend, you want to set a trend, there's something completely different in that nobody else has thought of. Okay, so that has to come from you. Number 3, brainstorm. Now I use this app called MindNode. Okay, it's a mind mapping app which I use it on. I have Apple MacBook as my my laptop, but you can use it. I think it's there even on Windows, but it's called MindNode. Basically, it's an app where you can actually create mind maps. Okay, and what are mind maps, or what is brainstorming, is basically that you pick out a word. Okay, say the word of what you're good at, the expertise that you're good at. Like say for me, personal branding. So under personal branding, I will branch out different aspects of my personal branding, like suppose mission, vision, audience, etc. All those things that I want to talk about. I don't stop right there. I further brainstorm on each topic. Okay, and I go deeper into that subject until I actually find something that would really mean a lot to me and that I can talk about as a content. Okay, as a content piece. So how brainstorming works is it goes deeper into your mindset. Okay, it goes deeper into how you understand the certain aspects of your industry. Okay, so if it's design, under design there are so many things you can talk about. If it's branding, there's so many things you can talk about branding. If there's coaching, there's so many things that you can talk about in coaching. If it's finance, so many things to talk about in finance. So that way you are putting all your ideas on a piece of paper. Okay, in MindNode it's on a document, and you can save it and keep adding to it. What brainstorming does is that it pulls out the tiniest and tiniest of details that are there in your industry, that are there in each topic, which you can work on. Okay, that is brainstorming. Number 4, get mentored. Now, I know there's this big ego that comes in between your expertise and mentoring, but if you break that ego, and why I say ego, because it is something that I extend in that entire space between you and your mentor. I want you to break that away and get mentored, because when you get mentored, you're seeing a different perspective of your business. Now you might have maybe 50 ideas ready, but your mentor can give you 50 more ideas. So you're looking at other new ideas that you never thought of. Now, talking about the exclusivity of your brand, your mentor can actually help you build the exclusivity of your brand. Okay, just by telling you how he or she did it in a certain way when she was in your place. Alright, so when you actually do that, when you actually talk to a mentor and you get your ideas straight, alright, your mentor will give you a different strategy, your mentor will give you a different opinion about many things that you're already doing. Probably there is a certain strategy that you're following and it's not working for you. But if your mentor tells you to do it in this way or take another direction, you could be really successful in what you're doing. So building new ideas comes from even mentoring. Okay, so when they see it from their perspective, through their experience, they will give you something that is very valuable, that will help your brand build. Alright, so get a mentor, and seriously get a mentor. And number 5 is model successful people in your industry. Okay, now apart from mentoring, there is also this thing of where you look at an influencer and you see how they do things accordingly. Now they might be in the same industry, and see, I'll tell you one thing, you'll find a lot of people who are better than you in your industry. Okay, and they have gotten to a certain level because of certain things that they have done in the back end. So what you need to do is you need to model those people. Okay, now in my case, I model people like Marie Forleo, Gary Vaynerchuk, T. Harv Eker, Tony Robbins, Richard Branson. These are the guys I actually want to mold, I want to model, because I've seen how they have grown and I've seen how they have built their brands. Okay, I read a lot of books on them. I read a lot of articles on them. I do a lot of research on them because I want to see what is it that got them to where they are today. Okay, now if you see a Marie Forleo, I really relate to her because of the way she talks about things on her podcast, on her videos, or on her blogs, on her website, how she presents herself. I really love that about her because I feel that is something that I can do. That is modeling, where you're seeing somebody do it differently. And how does this help in building new ideas? Is because when you see it from an influencer's point of view, okay, there are certain things that they have said in their video or on their blog or how they have marketed themselves that can work for you, that you can use. Okay, so using an influencer strategy is a really big learning that I have also taken in, because I feel that when there are certain things that you're doing, why not learn it from the best? All right, and that's what I say about continuous learning. So I am constantly learning. When I look at people, when I look at how Gary Vaynerchuk talks about his about things on business, or how to be an entrepreneur or how to build your personal brand, he talks about it so casually. Okay, I want to build that kind of way of talking casually. Now I will not be exactly like Gary Vee, but I will find my own flavor of talking casually with my crowd. So I'm getting ideas. All right. So these 5 points, all right. 1 is don't procrastinate over an idea. 2 is confidence to create. 3 is brainstorming. 4 is get a mentor. And number 5 is model the successful people in your industry. With these 5 things, you can easily build new ideas in your business, thus making yourself look like this really exclusive brand in the industry. In other words, positioning yourself on a really different note in terms of how your people look at you, how your audience looks at you. If you resonate with this video, you can subscribe to my channel, and I'll be sharing some more videos on personal branding and on entrepreneurship and business development. I also have a private support group on Facebook. The link is in the description. You can have a look at that, wherein I share exclusive information on personal branding. So whatever you see on YouTube, on my podcasts, on my on my regular fan page, on my blogs, is all information for a larger audience. But what is there on the support group is very exclusive for people who are really serious about building their personal brands. If you're one of them, please join my support group and I will see you there. Until then, watch out for more of my YouTube videos. Bye-bye.